So hi everybody and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 50 and in this video we continue with our game, of course, and here is the overview. We finished here the first 3 blocks. We are here on the 4th and here you can see we are in start game. So let's dive into the start game block and see what we have to do there. And you can see here I updated this one a little bit. And the point is, in our last the point is, in our last video, we have here created this main menu widget. We set up the input controls, which is not finished because we have first finished our gameplay so that we see what inputs we need later. So we have to update this. We have just made a placeholder there, and in this video I want to talk about the next block here, which is the story. Like I said in my last video, we have to bind this pre-story now into our game because we will use it to set up our scene, and we will also use it for gameplay a little bit because we need some infos about this pre-story. And yeah, let's go into this, and I have already set up a little bit which we will rebuild in this video. Let me show you what we will do. So when I start here this game, you can see that was the part what we did last time. We have here music, but I want not hear this music and the reason is I have still not updated the music with a better one, but later. So, and then this was the last time, and this one was also the last time what we created. And like I said, this one needs to be updated. And here one more note, this widget for input controls need to be accessible in gameplay as well. So we have to set up this probably there as well. So we have to provide an access probably probably in options or somewhere, so that the player, if he forgot anything, so that he can open up fast and rewatch what how to use it or something like that. So, and the new thing is now when I continue here, you can see we have this new page and there is also sound. So I have a record a little bit too. So this is the new thing what I want to do. So you can see I set up just a very simple widget. We have here page 1. This is the first page which you see, page 2, and then here on the bottom we have don't show again after you finished reading. Perhaps you don't want all time when you open up the game see it again, because I think one time it's enough, and this option is very handy. This option here is also not finished, and the reason for that is we need to set up, of course, a save game so that we can save that the player has clicked here, don't show it again. So when he open up the game again or go back to main menu and then start the game again, that this one is the code from the save game and checked if this is set or not. And yeah, that's it what we are going to do now. I will rebuild this widget here, and here's one more button. But before we go on, you can see I have not included design here. That looks really like a prototype, and it is a prototype. And by the way, the text here is still not controlled. I need to control it from a person with a good grammar, spelling, and yeah. And after this one, I will record the real text. Then because just now I recorded here just for test purposes 3 lines here to show you this later how we record as well. And yeah, the design, like I said, this is let's say, so I will make a design here, but a very not too much because we have only 7 days. But if you of course add more time to it, you can make here a nice design. For example, you can make here a nice text design, you can make here a background picture animation and all those kind of stuff like that for the story, that it's not too boring when the player is reading this, that it looks a little bit more, I don't know, so a little bit better. So that is what we will do. I will add only a little bit design. Like I said, if I have time later, I add more. But let's click here Start menu, and you can see this little Frobber, it's a one little thing you can add to the menu, and I used again here this loading screen, which should be replaced as well. So you can see many things. What you see right now are more placeholders, which you have later to redesign and to redefine. But the important part is these are core elements, which means it works. When you start the game, it will work. It will bring you to the point, like you can see here. For example, I don't know if this is real, the start point. It was just for test purposes here. This is probably also not the start point, but it maneuvers you exactly from start to this point here and shows you what to do, and later you can add all that what you need. So with that said, let me show you how we create a widget again, but I hope you know how to create a widget, because I will not go here absolutely in details because it's very simple, so I can show you it fast, but I hope you know in general how to create a widget. If not, no worry, I show everything step by step, but you can see it's just prototype, so it looks not very nice. And of course, there are different kind of solutions. I picked just one solution up, which was simple, fast, and probably not the best, but fast. It was fast. That's very important when you make a game in 7 days, that you should look a little bit on the time. All right, with that said, let's get started. I think I talked much, but what we do is recreate this widget. And how we do this, of course, I could explain all what you have to do, but like I said, most people are starters, so I show you this by doing and recreating the widget. First of all, we go to our game folders. You can see we have here our content, we have here this windmill, horror engine, and this one is my game folder. And then you go to the widget folder, which we already created, and here is our menu widget. But this time we are not using the menu widget. We create a new folder, right click, go top, new folder, and call it story. And this story folder, we will put in our story. Of course, there are different ways how you can include the story in your game. Like I showed you, I use this widget version because it's very simple, fast, not too much work. There are much better ways, I think, but that costs much time, and that I wanted not to do. And therefore, what we do is just create a widget. So let's create a widget. I hope you know how to do this. We go to our story, right click, and to create our widget we go all time to this down where it says user interface, and in user interface you see here this widget blueprint. Click on it and it pops up this little window here, and here it already points out user widget. That is exactly what we want. We click on it, it pops up here on our content, and we use a prefix W for widget and BP for widget blueprint underscore. That's my convention, what I use. You can use, of course, the new convention. I think that what I use is not the best, but for me it makes sense. That's enough. And then you call it what you like. I call it for this demonstration story 2 because I already have here a story. Let's save this. Let's open up our story widget, and you can see it's plain. And I use all time a canvas most time because I want to place something in. But this canvas version is not the best version because because canvas costs performance, and if you have many widgets, that can cause, yes, performance problems. I don't know if but in our case I don't think it will cause problems. That's why I use a canvas. And if you want to read a little bit more about canvas, how to use it properly, most time they use just one canvas and then they add other widgets to this one canvas. Instead, what I do is just I create for every widget which I create a canvas. But don't worry, this works also if you have not let's say many canvas widgets, let's say many widgets with canvases, right? All right, we compile, save that. We have a canvas. Canvas means most time you can now easily align something in it. That's why it's called canvas, right? Now you can align many things in it. So let's go back, go here, and you can see now how simple I made this. I created let me show you this fast. I created an image, one more image, and this images contains my story, which means the stories I saved in PNG files and just included in Unreal Engine, and then I added this here. I will show you this in a moment how we do this. And the other things are just button, 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 checkbox, text. So let's add these elements very fast. You can see how fast this is. First of all, let's start with these two images. Let's write image. Let's throw in the first image. We don't need to make it perfect now. We can align this later. Let's just throw it in. Let's say this is the first one. What I do here is just duplicate it, because on the right side you can see duplicate it. I put it over, and if you ask now why you are putting them over, because I will show these images with set visibility and not visibility with the buttons here. So you can see again a very simple solution. I don't know if it's the best solution, but that was the first thing in my mind. Let's do it, I say, instead of wasting too much time. And of course you should now use this anchor where you want it. I said, okay, let's anchor this both here in the middle, so they are organized. This anchor is just how they are later displayed on your screen and in which direction they anchor it. Something like that. All right, the importance here, perhaps you go here to this hierarchy and call them properly. So let's call this image null image here. img is again a prefix which I use, img underscore. Perhaps I call this, because these are my stories, I call this here story 1, because I have two. Let's call this img story 2. All right, we have these images. Let's throw in some buttons. You can see here we have 3 buttons. I make it very simple again. You throw it one button first. Let's go here, button, just throw it one in, make it properly first. So let's say, okay, this one here, let's throw a text in, because a button has here not a description, but we can throw in a text, which means it becomes a description. You can see when you throw here, or you can add it here, but now I can't add because I already have one, but both sides works. If you can't put it here, put it just here. And let's call this button page 1. You select the text, call the text page 1, for example, and then you set the color, but I skip all this kind of stuff. Let's use the anchor, because let's anchor them here on the right side. I don't know, perhaps here. And then let's say, okay, what you can do now is just go to your button, right click, duplicate one more time. And you can see I have now 3 buttons. They are anyhow here. Then you put the buttons here, how many buttons you need. So you can see here 1, 2. And then you can see it's similar to that what I did here. You can see only just organize a little bit more, but that's not so important right now. And then you just rename these buttons. Page 2 and start game. So fast game. It's very fast. So you can see it's not very difficult what I made there. You can make it really in some seconds. And the next thing what we need is compile, save, let's fast, is the text, and here a checkbox. Let's do this one fast too. So you go here, you write here text again. This text is just to say don't show again. Let's make this something like that. Then you go here to select the text again, write here the new content, don't show again, something like that. Let's size this up a little bit. Let's make it so. Don't know. This is just for test purposes. And then after this one, okay, I anchor it again, right? Let's anchor them here on the bottom, whatever. And we need here one more thing. We need this checkbox. Let's write a checkbox. We have this checkbox. This checkbox is a little bit strange. I'm not sure how to, I have not read this through how to set this up properly. And that's why I use it probably not the right way, but it's not so wild. So what I mean with not properly using, you can see the checkbox here is very small here, right? When I scroll, and this is the checkbox, and I don't know how to set this up automatically. Big. I know how to size it. You can go here. You can go here to right click on the right side to style, and there is the image size, and you can make this, for example, 80 by 80. I did this. That's not the problem. The bigger problem is when I size this here, 80 by 80, this one becomes blurry. It's not sharp. So later when I click here, it looks blurry, and I don't know how to avoid this. Or we have just to bring our own picture here. You can see the image size, whatever we have here, not the image size, but there is something preset this is using. So I have not watched this, but like you can see, you set this up, and don't forget, if you set this up, copy this and add to the other ones here, paste, and or set it probably up. I just pasted this because the other ones have now the size as well, and set up this hovered image and pressed image probably. The same goes here for this checked. Yeah, let's say checked image res. Let's set this 80 by 80 as well. So later when you check it, that this one shows up. Copy. Then you go here to paste and paste here as well. All right, so you can see that's more or less, and then set up here some colors, perhaps alignments and all this kind of stuff. And the same thing I did here. So this part's very simple. You set it up how you like and make it. So you can see it's really simple. It's a widget setting up, and my widget setting up is bad, very bad, but it works. And later, if it's not work, we change it. It's anyway a prototype, so no problem if it's not working, but it will work. So the next point is this image is not finished, right? So you can see the image. We need now this text. Yes, the story. And my solution was just use our image, but you don't have to use our image. There are text. There are actually, when you write text, there are different kind of text. So you can see there is, I don't know, that text box multiline, and other things, editable text multiline, and you should check them, and then you can write all that what you want, perhaps just in this one. But my solution was I already wrote the text outside of Unreal Engine, which means in a text editor. In my case, it was even in Paint, and Paint is nice. With Paint, you can just save it in a picture, and look what this is. This is an image, which means I can use just a picture, which means what I have to do is now just import this text in the story. So how we do this, let's do this as well. We go to our folder, we go to the story, and then, yeah, we have no story. Of course, we create first again new folder, call it story, double click on your story, right click again, new folder, and call pre-story, because when we call story here, story can be many things. So perhaps a pre-story or in-game story or whatever story, and different kind of elements. In my case, it's called pre-story. And of course, there are different ways to create a pre-story. Like I said before, in my case, I use just pictures in Paint, which I use this files, but of course you can use just normal text files, or you can use it in Unreal Engine with text blocks. So there are many different kind of ways. I just use this one, and the reason for that, it's very simple. That's why. And you can see the story I wrote here, for example. This is the story, and this is a PNG file, storytelling PNG, is saved in Paint as a PNG, which means what I can do now is, you can see when I go here, open up my story, I'm in my content, and what you can do is just, you can see drop and drop here, and it will be automatically converted to a texture. So this PNG files, doesn't matter which PNG file. Let me show you this. This one I already got here, so let me show it with this here. I drop it here and it is converted. You can see it here. Now it's converted to a texture in Unreal Engine. So fast, very simple. That's why I use this version. The only problem is, not a real problem. You can use a text file, put it in a graphic program and save it as a PNG, and then get it here in. And nice thing is also, for example, if you use a graphic program, you can make later style. You can use a nice paper style. You know, there are so many graphical styles of paper documents, how to provide a text. In my case, I skipped this. like I said, later you can add all this design. There are so many nice styles, so many things. But in my case, I wanted to show you only that it's easy done. And after you have now this textures, so this PNG files here imported as textures, of course you can use here import as well, by the way, so you have not to use this one. But I think this drag and drop with PNG files are very simple. It works very fast, but of course you can use also import if you have probably more files. It's more simple to import because then you select probably all and then one time import and it will be imported directly. So for more files it's import better. But yeah, these are options. And then let's continue here a little bit. After you have your texture file saved, you go back to your widget, so you can see it's not. And here what we do is just simply select the first story, because it says here image story 1. I selected this one, and this one I don't need, sorry for that. Let's see this. So again, story selected here. We go here to the right side to details, go to the brush, and here it says image. And now I search this story. I called this, I don't know, T story something. All right, I called this story. Why I have only 2 here? Where's 1? I don't know. Storytelling, something is wrong. Let me show something. All right, this one was probably I don't know. Is storytelling. All right, let's right click, fix up folders. So this one, save all fast. All right, this one I renamed this anyhow, I don't know why. All right, let's go back to our widget where we was and where we were. And then here in image story 1, I select this one here. I go again to this brush, to this image, go drop down. You don't have to go to drop down, but this is one way. There are better ways or shorter ways. And story, if you know the name, and now they pop up here, and then you select it. And if you see nothing like me, the reason is because I overlapped it. And for test purposes, you can just make this one and select this one. And you can see this looks like that. Looks a little bit strange. I don't know, but it's okay. And like you can see, this picture is not beautiful and not good. But if you are using a graphical program design, you can select, I think there are many templates for nice documented, I don't know. You can even look it like a pirate thing or something like that. Who knows? There are so many things. But yeah, that's it. And then the same thing you do for the second one. Let's bring this back here. And let's make this a little bit similar. All right. So the second one, you do the same. So you can see picture, the story. And this is the second one. And now they are overlapping. That's okay. And now I think we set up more or less this one. And I think I should stop here because we are going a little bit for programming after this one. here you saw all the things what I set up here was very simple, and I hope you set up this in a better way than me. But yeah, it's simple. And later we go a little bit in programming. Again, I used in programming a very simple approach again. And before we go to programming, I want to show you one more thing in this video. Takes also a little bit time, is the recording. How to record this. And the recording, there are different ways to record this. If you have a microphone, that would be nice. If you have not a microphone, no worry, still record it with any microphone you have, even if it's not a good quality. I show you something. There is a program, there are different kind of programs. You can go to the web and see what you like most, but I use a very cheap and free program which is very powerful. It is called this Audacity. It is free to use, and with this one you can record, and you can see here, let me show you this. I recorded here just what I talked here. And let me, let me show you that what I'm recording now. So after you downloaded this Audacity, it's free to use. And let me show you this one. It's very simple, actually. Of course, when you use it the first time, it's not so simple, because you will learn a little bit the surface and so, but actually you can see, you just open up, you go here on top, you set up the inputs, of course, for your microphone. So you have to make a setup so that this works. Or if you use any other program, for example, OBS will work too, or any other audio program, what you have can work. But here a tip, better use not really OBS or something like that. Better use this program or another or let's say music production program. The reason is very simple. Here we have some more options for effects. So that's why I said, if you have a very bad microphone, no worry, you can change your sound here. You can make them sound really nice. Even with a bad microphone, you can change a little bit the sound. Okay, it will be not your natural sound. That's not so important, I hope, but it will sound better. So let me show you what I mean with that. Let's record this here. What's that? Go at the start. Okay, here. So now I'm testing that, what I told you right now, right? That's enough. So now I'm testing that, what I told you. So that was crap talk like all time, but yeah, that happens, and you will probably test this recording many times. That's normal. Yeah, that's normal. And then you can go here to the effects, right? And then you say, hey, let's make an echo effect. I don't know. Let's see. So now okay, you can see now I already changed my sound a little bit. So now yeah, and what I want to point out is, when you use a sound production tool or any better ones, if you find one, then you can change a lot of things, make them sound very nice, smooth and different. So it is not later, perhaps it's not even your natural sound. For example, if I have here an echo, later I make a bass or whatever. And yeah, and then after that you can, you can record with this one here, your text, and add this to your file. And this will be also programming, but let me show you what I did. Really, it's also very simple. You go again to your game developer file, you create again, right click, new folder, audio folder. Audio folder, in my case, I made again a folder because there are many different kind of audios. I called it story, and here I have already 2 test versions. And important is how I make this. So before you saw this oh no, I closed it. Very nice. That must be not the right thing. Okay, here on the bottom I have it anyway. You can see Audacity, it's called, yes, whatever. And this one here, let's record this, and let me demonstrate this one fast. Let's record this. Okay, now I'm recording already. That's enough for our test purposes. Bam. And now I select this and go here on top. I go to export and import this. You can export this one as a WAV file. And that's important why you should use a WAV file, because Unreal Engine 5 can import WAV files directly. That's very important. All right, so we click WAV file, then we find a folder. You can see I already made some, so I saved this not. But after you save that, you go back to your Unreal Engine 5, go back to your audio file, to the story in my case, then you open up the WAV file which you saved on your hard drive. Let me show you this. In my case, it's, where is this again? In Documents, in Audacity, where is that? And it was Horror Engine. Okay. I have, all right, you can see I have already imported this. Let me import something else here. Text sound here. So you can see this, you can't see it. Oops, sorry. So you can see here my folder, I have here different kind of WAV files, which I already created myself with testing and playing around. After you have this, important is that these files here should be WAV. If they are WAV, what you can do here is, look, just simple drag and drop again here, and it is in. And that's so nice about these files. Or if you want import many sound files, this drag and drop is slow. Then I would rather use this import probably, and then select all the files which you want import and then import them all at once. So drag and drop is very easy for single files, and like I showed for many files, it's better probably to use import. All right, and if you have this, let's see what this is. Okay, that's not a good sound. Let's skip it. All right, with that said, I think we covered some basics, but really prototyping, and the result is later when we have to code all this kind of stuff in the next video, because we just set up, we talked what we have to do and so on, and the result will be something similar like this one. It starts, of course, this sound I have to replace as well. That was just the horror sound from this startup from the horror engine. And then you press here new, then the controls will be replaced as well. Then got it. Here is our story input. We will design this much better, I hope. And like I said, there are better ways than this one, but I choose this one because it's simple. And then after we finish this, we read this, we click this, never see it again, understand, start the game. And this one I can show you before I close this. That's very simple. That's very fast. Let me show you this one very fast too. So this loading screen we will still need later, but not the loading screen. Let me open up fast this. Where is that? Let's see. It says here basic loading. Yeah, let me go there. So this one I used again from the horror engine, again placeholder, but you can see this circle here. This is already a built-in Unreal Engine proper, I think it's called. You can go here in your widget blueprint. This is just a normal widget blueprint. And in widget blueprint, you go here to your palette and write proper, I think. Yeah, and you can see there are two kinds of proper. The one is this proper here. Well, let's see what this is. I can't put it here. Why I can't? Oh no, let's see if I can here. Now I have it. So you can see this proper here is more like a line. Or this one here that looks more like this one. Yeah. Let me press this one here. I could almost simulate this one here, but I prefer this this circle. And again, this picture I just used for a placeholder. You can bring here more informative pictures or make a ambient picture again to introduce a mood or something like that. And yeah, that I want to show you as well, because this is all some basic setups. Later we program this, and of course if I have time, probably I will try to use design here like I tried in my first thing here. You can see this is not much design, just so that it works a little bit, so that it looks not like that what we see right now here. This is, by the way, the story tube, but this one looks also not that much good. This looks really bad, actually, like really the first time created, and it is indeed just created very fast, simple, so that you can make this one within some minutes if you if you are good, and then add, of course, later the design takes much time. Design you can't make probably in some minutes. That takes really depends on your experience, of course. If you are a very good designer, you can have many templates and experience, you are very good. But for me this take probably to make a good more than one day. That's why I make them later if I have time. Alright, with that said, I stop this video, and in the next video we will start coding this kind of stuff, because we have just thrown all in, but we have never talked how we set this coding up, this blueprint. Very simple actually, but still we have to set this up, right? But don't worry, the coding is really simple here, straightforward most time, and not difficult. With that said, if you have any questions or any complaints like all time, or any suggestions, write it in the comments. And like all time, have fun, never give up, and see you. Bye.